welcome to Girls Insight Voices with me, Katie Andrews. On today's show, I'm joined by Arch North East Kay Davies, Teesside University's Dr. Sarah Ilot, and student Rhiannon Hughes. So first, ladies, could you tell me a little bit about yourselves? We'll start with you, Rhiannon.
I'm Rhiannon, I'm a student at Teesside University and I study crime and investigation, and I'm a feminist.
Thank you. And Kay?
Hi, I am an expert in sexual violence, I suppose you could say. I've worked with survivors of sexual violence for the last 20 odd years, and I've been involved in lots of campaigning and work to really improve services and the way that people respond. And I would also say that I am a feminist.
Thank you, Kay. And Sarah?
I'm an English lit lecturer here at Teesside University, mainly working on post-colonial literature, but I also run Teesside's Feminist Book Club here, and I am a feminist.
Thank you. So I'd like to start off discussing the issues around how feminism has evolved and how people are now perceive feminism and its image. Recently, it's been said that feminism is becoming more of a fashion statement or a phase where young female fans are copying celebrity feminist ideals. So what is your opinion on this, Rhiannon?
Well, personally, from experience myself in that, I didn't really know what a feminist was. I knew that it was about being equal to men, but recently over my Facebook, loads more people seem to be promoting feminists.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah. Okay. And Kay, what do you think about this? What's your opinion?
I think I've got quite mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, it's lovely because for years I've heard young women saying, I'm not a feminist, but I actually agree with what you're saying. So on the one hand, having something that makes feminism exciting and interesting to young women is wonderful. It's not a new idea, but it's wonderful. But on the other hand, it's never going to be a fad or a phase. It's not a trend. It's not something that's going to come in and go out of fashion. Feminism has always been. The way that people have responded to feminism's changed over the years. I mean, in the 70s, the gorgeous Mr. Hefner, who thought that making female empowerment, sexualising it was the way to go. And I'm seeing more and more of that now. A real clash between what it actually means to be empowered and a kind of hijacking of our sexuality in the name of feminism. I'm not sure if I'm very clear. On the one hand, it's wonderful that feminism is popular again. On the other hand, there is a danger that it is seen as a trend or a fad that could quickly die out.
I agree. I think as well, young girls, going to Beyonce concerts back at MTV VMAs, Beyonce had a backdrop that said feminist, and I think young girls are looking at Beyonce and thinking, oh, do you know what, I'm a feminist, and they don't actually know the meaning of a feminist. Sarah, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it seems a little bit patronising to young women, I think, to say that it's a phase, because I think it is definitely kind of a political way of identifying, even if it means different things for different people. I share some of your concerns with it, Kay, in terms of the way that it's sometimes manifested. In general, I think obviously it's a great thing that more young women are being exposed to feminism as a positive kind of lifestyle and set of political ideas. I think that that's great. I think that we do need to have more discussions about, what that really means. But I would also kind of question maybe, I think it is still a dirty word in some circles, and there is still a lot of women who would want to distance themselves from that term, even if they would proclaim to then agree with, everything that I would say a feminist is. So.
Interesting, okay. Has anybody else got any other opinions or anything within feminism?
I think it's a curious trend that people would want to distance themselves from the name feminism, from the term feminism, and anything we can all do to help women to embrace that, because it is such a powerful, freeing way of thinking, to hold feminist beliefs and attitude. It sets you free from all of the oppression that young women experience every day from our society. So embrace it, whenever you can, just embrace it.
And Kay, do you think there's a way, how could we teach young girls, about feminism and give them more of an insight to what feminism actually is? What would...
I think it's about talking about feminism in today's language rather than relying on the historic approaches that perhaps we've all heard and we're all familiar with. For me, it's about every generation making feminism work for them and finding their own language and their own way. And it's certainly not for me to dictate how we can make that happen. I wouldn't know where to start in how to do that. But I would encourage anyone to, especially any young women, to look into feminism and look at the way it changes the way you feel about yourself and about your place in this world.
Okay, thank you. So, body confidence is a major issue for many women in the UK. According to the Government Equalities Office, 1 in 5 primary school age girls say they have been on a diet, while 87% of girls aged 11 to 21 think that women are judged more on their appearance than their ability. It has also been said that 1/3 of children say they often worry about the way they look. So, do you think, Rhiannon, that body confidence is an issue that we have that needs addressing as well?
Yes, definitely. Especially with papers and social media coming along, because from being on Tumblr myself, I've noticed that there's pages such as Inspiration, where it's basically
inspiration.
It's basically inspiring people to not eat and become thin.
Oh my goodness, okay.
Yeah, and then on the other side you've got papers like the Daily Mail, like just from this week, well last week, they did the piece about the Ladies' Day races in Liverpool, and on that there was a photo of a woman who was wearing a suit. She looked like someone's mum. She looked dead nice.
Yeah.
And they'd put the caption as "looks like someone's regretting wearing this tight suit."
Oh my goodness,
and that's like
okay.
body shaming someone,
Yeah.
and there's no need for it.
Yeah.
So
the media don't seem to really think how
Yeah,
that woman would feel after that. Like, that would break my heart. You know, that'd be very devastating, and you'd probably go down the route where, you know, type thing, you get uncomfortable about your body. I would follow myself a lot of Instagram models and all that on social media, and I think, you know, I'm looking at these celebrities and I'm like, I want to be like that, and I want to have that figure, you know, and I'm just, it's, you know, it's something I think we need to lay out, that we need to get, you know, young girls to feel confident about themselves. What do you guys think?
I think it's important that everybody understands that we're all unique. There isn't a human mould that churns out identical people coming forward, and yet that's what the fashion industry sometimes wants to sell to us. The attractive image at the moment is do you want to look like a porn star?
Yeah.
Do you want to be size 6 with huge stick-on plastic appendages and absolutely no body hair?
Yeah.
That isn't an achievable image. That isn't an image that most healthy young women would even want to achieve. The differences between the standard body weight of society and the body weight of supermodels is actually getting bigger. The models are getting thinner with every generation, and it's making it harder and harder for young women to actually achieve the image that's being sold to them. So how could you ever feel anything less than confident when you're told you should be like this, when none of us would actually look like that?
Yeah.
It's setting people up to fail, it's setting people up for pain, and it is increasing the number of people with eating disorders and body confidence issues again and again and again and again. But 9-year-olds wondering about being too fat for heaven's sake.
It's too young. It's not
terrifying.
Right.
From personal experience as well, what you're saying about celebrities.
Yes.
I've seen that celebrities have been using raspberry ketone and coffee bean extract to lose weight. So, of course, I started taking them.
Yeah.
And they worked. I lost weight, but I also wasn't eating at the same time, and that was worrying because I got too thin, and it was to the point where I could have been hospitalised if I didn't.
And that's scary.
Like,
that is really...
I was actually in university at the time, and I ended up having to go home, and my sister having to take them tablets away from me, obviously, and making me eat and stuff like that. And it took about, I think it took about a year for me to start eating normally again.
And you saw these tablets on social media sites?
Yeah, like, oh, look at this, you can lose this amount of weight in this time.
And you'd see that and you'd go, I want to get those straight away, do you know, there's no problem. But just Rhiannon, watch for saying, social media doesn't help this issue, especially with waist training and fad detoxing being so popular and highly promoted. So do you think celebrities should take up responsibility for this? Sarah?
I think, well, yes, but I think also society at large, everyone's got a responsibility to think about the way that they're representing and the values that they're promoting to people. So it shouldn't just be, you know, laid on the door of celebrities. Although that said, when I was a teenager, I had an eating disorder as well, and it was before, I'm showing my age here a bit, but it was before kind of social media was so popular. But I did read a lot of celebrity magazines, and one of the first things that my doctor said when I went, when my mum took me, was stop reading them, basically. You know, they're giving you an unrealistic image of
bad influence as well.
I don't know if it's just you, but did you feel like you were getting sucked into their lifestyle, being able to be that skinny and stuff? Like with me, when I was being that skinny, I was walking around thinking, oh, I'm fabulous. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just me,
Yeah.
but I thought, oh, well, I've lost loads of weight now, so I'm good. Like,
But really, you aren't.
That's the conditioning we're given as
Yeah.
women to lose weight. You
Yeah.
get lots of positive strokes,
Yeah.
even if you look ghastly.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like, oh,
like-
haven't you lost weight? Oh, you know,
I
you're
remember
disappearing.
at the time I was actually getting a tattoo as well, and the tattoo was turned around to me and was like, no offence, but I feel like I'm tattooing a child. And I kind of went,
Was that bad then? It got. Yeah.
well, I felt complimented, but at the same time I was like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe I should like do something about my weight.
Yeah.
But like,
The alarm bells going off, really.
yeah, that's when
Yeah.
it was because of a breakup as well. But then like at the same time, because I'd seen them tablets,
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I can be better.
Mhm.
Like, so,
Yeah.
But if we're taught, if you get thinner, you'll feel better about yourself.
yeah,
The first thing we do whenever we feel distressed, whatever the cause, is start to focus on our body image and
Yeah.
start to lose weight.
Yeah.
And we can't, you know, it's not sustainable. The health fads, the diets, they make us lose a huge amount of weight. We can't possibly keep that weight off, so it's bound to come back again.
yeah.
And that's when you start getting into those mood swings. I'm either a failure or I'm a success, based entirely on
Yeah, like-
how many pounds you lost that week.
I found as well, like especially with not eating, that I've got a lot of depression. Like what you're saying, like I'd sit there like, ooh, I hate myself kind
Yeah.
of thing, and that's not good, like
No.
at all. So
And I think that these kind of issues aren't limited to women. Obviously, there are men that are
Yeah.
experience the same things.
Exactly.
But I
yeah.
think that the disproportionate amount of women who go through these things is probably something to do with the emphasis that's placed specifically on women's looks, and that as being their kind of sole source of value.
Mhm.
If more emphasis was placed on other values like intelligence or sense of humour or that kind of thing, then maybe, you know, looks wouldn't be quite so important
Major thing, yeah.
to feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
I had a wonderful quote recently it was probably on social media,
Yes.
and it was, you don't need to be pretty to earn your place in this world.
Yeah. It's lovely. Yeah.
Really powerful.
Yeah. Okay. So the Office of National Statistics in their latest report shows that across all sexual offences there was an increase of 36% in crimes reported in a year. Rape claims alone increased by 39%. This is the largest rise since 2003. So in your opinions, what is the problem here? Who wants to?
Anyone
I mean,
else?
Kay, you're probably the
Yes,
expert
Kay.
on this, but I mean, I don't know, but looking at the statistics, it seems more like there's an increase in people having the confidence to report,
Yeah.
which is good.
which is a good thing. But I mean, I don't know how close that is to the actual statistics of
Mhm.
rapes happening, changing. You're probably better equipped to talk about
There has been a slight change in the culture and in the climate because of some of the high-profile cases, the Jimmy Savile cases, Operation Yewtree, etc. It's almost given people permission to say, well, actually, that happened to me too, but that isn't the whole picture. That is part of the picture. There is also an increase in sexual offences happening, and there is an increase in almost that entitlement attitude of young men acting inappropriately. Very, very recently, there's been a survey of sexual violence in school. 5,500 sexual offences committed over a 3-year period, and 600 rapes
And this was in school?
in schools. So to say that the increase is just because of which the police might like us to believe that it's because they're doing their job better and more women have got the confidence to come forward, that is part of the picture. But there is also something else going on in our society that is making young boys at a younger and younger age start to commit sexual offences against women and other children.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I also think it could have something to do with lack of education, especially like, I don't know if it's in the UK now, but is it, you can choose if you want to do sex education or not.
Uh-huh.
But I remember seeing a case and a guy got away with rape because apparently he wasn't taught that it was wrong,
Okay,
which
yeah.
personally I think that's terrible. He shouldn't
Yes.
have got away with it. Like
Yeah.
you do something, you get punished for it.
Yeah.
But I think that's a big issue as well.
Yeah.
Sex education doesn't go far enough. It
Yeah.
tends
Yeah.
to teach us about contraception
Mhm.
rather than consent, healthy relationships and respect
Yeah.
for each other. My concern is the accessibility of pornography at a younger and younger and younger age. We've got 10, 11-year-old children looking at pornography which is incredibly hardcore and incredibly misogynistic. If that is their only source of education on relationships, how can we expect when they grow older that they could relate respectfully to women? We need to start making some huge changes from a very early age in educating all of our children, not just the girls keep themselves safe, but the boys as well. Otherwise this is going to be endemic.
Yeah.
What kind of work do you do then on that front? Like, what do you go into schools, or are you working with children?
There are rape crisis centres right across the country. We all work in partnership. And some of our centres specialise in prevention, other of our centres specialise in supporting people through the criminal justice system. But we are always trying to make a difference in schools with the healthy relationships programmes, etc., because we really understand that needs to happen at a very early age to protect these children going forwards.
And Kay, can you talk to me a little bit about what Arch do and what they provide for victims of sexual crime?
We are a specialist sexual violence support service operating in Middlesbrough, and we offer counselling, advocacy and general support and advice to male and female survivors of sexual violence. Counselling, we will help somebody recover from the huge impact that rape has on your life. If the person wants to report, we have specialist legal advisors who will support her right through that process. And we also provide an advocacy service, because rape doesn't happen in isolation. If your life's chaotic before you're raped, it's going to be twice as chaotic afterwards. So our advocacy workers help iron out some of those chaotic strands, if you like, so the survivor can focus on recovering or on attaining justice.
And Kay, what is it like working with Arch Charity?
Oh, it's
in your
fabulous.
Own,
It's
rewarding?
It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. It's something I've been committed to, like I say, for over 20 years. And there's something so magical about watching somebody get their confidence back, get their strength back, stop blaming themselves. Because every survivor I've ever met who's experienced sexual violence ends up blaming themselves. So watching somebody get their life back and their confidence back, it is
amazing.
It's heaven.
Yeah.
And coming back to that self-blame, one thing I've become more and more aware of is when we talk about preventing rape, it's always aimed at women. Keep yourself safe, don't go out at night, think about what you wear, think about what you're doing. And there are sensible things we can do to keep ourselves safe, but by targeting women, if they are then raped, because they've been taught it's their fault, they're going to think, I've done something wrong. I've failed. I have got this wrong. Rather than the blame for rape can only ever lie with the perpetrator. So anybody out there, if this has happened to you, it's not your fault. It was never your fault. Come and get some support.
Thank you. So ladies, we are running a campaign called #HandsOff, a campaign which is aimed to raise awareness of sexism and sexual abuse targeting women. So would you all support something like this?
Absolutely, it's a fantastic idea. And the target, hands off. I couldn't applaud you more.
Brilliant.
Well done.
Thank you. Definitely. So really the campaign's just going to be put, #HandsOff will be put over social media, which just will be raising awareness for sexism, and we want people to share their stories with us, and it just means that we can support one another, each other. So listen, thank you very much for coming along today. I hope you've all enjoyed yourselves and got an insight to all of these hot topics. That's all from us at Girls Insight Voices. Be sure to check out our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram for more. Thank you. Bye-bye.